Welcome to
The Danger Update.
We've called this the Danger Update because it adds a massive amount of content that adds peril to gameplay.
It's designed to bring in a bigger challenge to the game. This Danger Update introduces a new mechanic called shelter breaching.
Now people don't just knock on the door of your shelter, they try and break in.
To steal food, water, petrol, they may even harm your family.
In order to counteract this, you can build traps to stop people getting into your shelter.
And we've also changed the doors. They no longer are the big metal chunky doors that you have at the moment. We've now downgraded them to wooden doors, and you have to upgrade them yourself. Each upgrade will bring with it a longer time that it takes to break through, so it gives you more time to prepare for a breach.
You can also add hiding spots to your shelter so that you can ensure that your inhabitants are safe.
Part of this Danger Update is the loyalty system. Before, when you recruited NPCs, they would just instantly become like a normal family member. You could use them as you wished, and a lot of people would abuse this. They now have to look after them for a small amount of time to gain their trust before they're able to use them as a normal family member.
Your recruit has a loyalty meter, so you can tell how long you have left until your recruit is fully loyal as well.
If you don't keep them happy, they'll just walk out the door, and they might even take some food with them. they can be like that. When they leave, their personality will dictate what they do. So you might have a passive personality, and he might, when he's leaving, just damage one of your filters as he's leaving because it's on the surface and he doesn't have to really deal with you. It's not kind of up front. Whereas if you have an aggressive person, they might just steal your food because they don't really care about you, and they're just like, yeah, give me your food, and they just run off with it. So the personalities really help us to decide how they react in different situations. With the personalities, we have psychopaths.
Any recruit can be a psychopath.
They all have a trigger that's linked to their personality, and if this trigger triggers, then the psychopath will either murder one of your family members or possibly start a fire, and then they'll just leave. The psychopaths will give a hint that they're about to trigger, and we have a dismiss option with the recruits now, so you might want to get rid of them quickly before they cause any damage.
Fires are one of the new features to the Danger Update. Fire can start by either a psychopath starting a fire in your shelter, or if you let the integrity of one of your items drop to 0% for too long, it could become a fire hazard. You can put a fire out using a fire extinguisher object. You can also put your fire out using water from your shelter's water supply as well. Fires can spread quite quickly, so I would recommend that you react to them straight away when they do start happening. When something inside your shelter has been on fire, you will need to repair it in order to start using it again. So usually it appears as like a pile of ash on the floor.
In this update, we've introduced faction zones. Factions are unique people that you discover on the map that have grouped together basically and create a faction. They'll have their own types of clothing, their own dialogue, and most of them will act quite aggressively towards you.
You can tell when you've come across a faction because you'll see a big coloured area on the map.
The faction zones will grow and shrink as you play through the game, so they'll control different areas of the map at different points.
Factions are usually generally more aggressive, but they do drop some really cool loot, so I would recommend sticking out in the fight if you can, but be careful because they are difficult.
Another layer of danger being added with this Danger Update is the introduction of an oxygen level to the shelter. So now on your resources tab, you'll have an oxygen level which will drop if you have too many people in the shelter, and eventually the people in the shelter will suffocate.
You'll have to upgrade your oxygen filter if you want to recruit more people into your shelter.
We tried to be as realistic as we can when we implement mechanics and with the game in general, and something that was fed back to us by the community was that the radiation that we'd emulated in the game wasn't exactly realistic. We've taken the constant radiation effect away, and instead now radiation only becomes active when there's a dust storm.
So if you didn't have a hazmat suit available, then it's not to worry that you might get radiation poisoning if you're caught out in that storm.
A few other things going into the update that are worth noting, one of which is the bears and wolves are being reintroduced as wildlife encounters. Quite apt because it's the Danger Update, and these are very dangerous encounters. They're quite hard to take on, but they hold valuable food and they hold leather, which is a very valuable resource. Also, we have added another pet, which is the horse. The horse will be able to be taken out on expeditions and be treated like a vehicle. You'll be able to carry stuff if you make a saddlebag for him, and he's a really, really useful useful pet, which we think will be a community favourite once he's released. I do feel that just introducing all of these different danger elements has been really good to the game. It's added a big chunk to the game that was missing, in my opinion. All of the content that we're putting into the game is driven by community feedback. So if you have any issues, any suggestions, any feedback that you just want to give to us, then you can do that through the Steam forums.